all these damn illegal aliens taking over American jobs, it ain't right because they're all criminals, you know. That's why we need a strong leader that'll put Americans first. That's why I voted for him, because he said he's going to deport all them illegal aliens, okay? Because I'm a proud American farmer. I don't need no illegal immigrants taking over my jobs. Ain't that right, Jose? Jose? Juan? Pedro? Where did y'all go? Hey, where did they go? They left. Why did they leave? They got work to do. Because they were illegal, and you voted for the guy that wants to deport them. Not really the most stable working environment. What? But I need their cheap labor to make my thin profit margins to make sense financially. Well, you should have thought about that, because now you're going to have to hire Americans, and they're going to unionize and ask for higher wages and eat into those profit margins. What, are you saying that I have to face the consequences of my own actions? Because we can't afford this. We're all going to be bankrupt in 2 quarters. Funny how life works that way.
This is how it went.
Very happy and excited that Trump won. As far as financially, obviously nothing's really changed. We're still under the Biden administration, but I know that it is coming,
and this is how it's going.
So I admit, I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank account.
Yeah, you regret your vote. And you know what? You're saying that you regret your vote. You're on video here crying your eyes out because you learned the hard way that Donald Trump does not mean lower prices for you. He, again, stated over and over and over again that he was going to do blanket tariffs. We told you he was going to raise prices. You guys said, no, we don't know what we're talking about. Experts who've studied this for 10 plus years now, they just don't know. And now you're suffering the consequences of raising prices in a shitty economy, and you're begging.
I just had a brilliant idea. Instead of all y'all folks spending all your time trash talking me and telling me how horrible of a person I am and all the rest of the farmers are, why don't y'all spend a little time, call your congressmen and your representatives and all that, try to get them folks up there in Washington to open it back up. Open the government back up and get us some kind of trade plan going on so we can get a good market for all of our commodities. We don't want you dadgum bailouts and socialist stuff. We don't want all that crap, because that's going to go straight to the dadgum chemical and fertilizer dealers and fuel dealers anyway. We just want a good trade deal to where somebody will buy our commodities. That's all we ask for. Instead of spending all your time trash talking to me, holler at the people that really can make a difference.
Nah, fuck them farmers. Like I've said before, you're not going to tell me after you voted the way you voted to then call my congressmen and women and my representatives to try to dig us out of a hole that you buried us in. All these farmers, I guarantee it, 4-1 decided to vote for Donald Trump, even though he absolutely crushed you the first time. And now your soybeans aren't worth a warm pitcher of piss. You guys are struggling so much as crop prices are falling, as nobody wants your shit because of all of the tariffs and everything else that he is doing to cripple this economy. And your solution, after you sold us out, after you screwed us over, is, oh, why don't you call somebody? Why don't you call your representative? For God's sake, I don't know what else you want us to do. You continue to vote against your own best interest, and then you whine and complaining when everybody's on your case, on your back, and you say, well, why don't you do something about it? We did. We tried. And now you are where you are because of how you voted. 3 straight times, I guarantee, you voted for that man, and he has screwed you over so many times that he is going to bury you, and you are going to lose your family farms. So fuck around and find out, FAFO to the nth degree.
Oh boy, you think my video about the Arkansas farmers is what keeps dividing us? No, babe, what divided us is the fact that the farmers that we're both referring to specifically voted to harm others rather than help themselves. That's what's divided us. While us libs voted for their subsidies and their bailouts and their crop insurance and their rural internet. They voted to hurt us. They voted for the suffering and erasure of my Black, trans, and immigrant family and friends. That was their priority. So forgive me for yelling, but I think it's important to understand where the division actually started. And as somebody who has a master's in understanding food systems and their impact on public health, I actually already did a video about the negative chain reactions this is going to have on our food supply and our environment at large, all the way back when the state of Nebraska was freaking out. I linked it below in case you're interested. But see, the thing is, as horrific as those impacts will eventually be, 5-10 years down the road, you guys voted to put all marginalized people in immediate danger. So the vast majority no longer have the bandwidth or the empathy to fight for your financial security or comfort because they're fighting for their actual lives. You did that. And you want us to find the time amidst all of that to fight for these farmers who we can't even rely on to vote correctly in the midterms, in their own financial interests, let alone for our safety. Can we trust these people not to vote for Trump a fourth time if God forbid it comes to it? No, I don't think we can. And you want to talk about division when these farmers would rather own the libs than their own farms? Be so fucking for real.
Project 2025 said that they were going to destroy overseas markets for farmers. On page 307, they said they would push legislation to repeal export programs. And this graph was put out today by the New York Times. Last year, China bought over $12 billion of beans. Today, zero. Not 1 penny. And we know that over 78% of farmers voted for Trump. But I don't want to get into the FAFO because we're all going to find out. But every time I wonder why they would do something, I always think, what would Vladimir Putin want for our country? What would the oligarchs want for our country? Even if farmers get a bailout this year, there's no reason to plant next year. And if you don't plant, then you sell. And if you have to sell, it's probably going to be a fire sale. It's going to go for cheap, right? And they already have the model for this. They did it to rural communities years ago. Take away the jobs, hollow out the schools, people leave. You can do whatever you want with the land.
Hello everyone, it's Anthony. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just popped up to say hi. So let's continue watching these clips and make our conclusion later because what's happening in our country is damning. So let's continue watching these clips and I just popped up to say hi. Thank you for being my subscriber, commenting in my videos, liking, even watching. It's something good. So and let's get involved in spreading the word to other communities, to other people who have a similar mindset or who are reforming. So let's continue watching and we'll make our conclusions at the end of the video.
Trump just made a post on Truth Social and talking about China purposely stopped buying American soybeans and that it's an economically hostile act. Then he threatened to stop buying cooking oil from China. I am here to help you to understand what he's actually talking about. Let's break it down. First, China used to be the biggest buyer of U.S. soybeans. Most of the soybeans are for cooking oils or for animals, cows and pigs and chickens, all that kind of stuff. This is not hostility, that's economics. This is capitalism, which American politicians love it until it doesn't work in their favor. When you tax and threaten your main customer, they move to another suppliers. That's how free trade works. Now, you probably already know, but Trump didn't mention the U.S. Treasury recently approved about $20 billion of financial package for Argentina. Political aid to, disguise as economic support. Basically, the U.S. want Milei to stay in place, and that's why they give him the money. Right after that, Argentina cut export tax on soybeans, and China immediately bought around 20 ships of Argentine soybeans, which carrying about 65,000 tons. So U.S. taxpayers' money ended up helping Argentina undercut U.S. farmers. This logic is just mind-blowing. This is not foreign victory. This is self-inflicted damage. Now the cooking oil thing. The U.S. does not really buy cooking oil from China. It buys used cooking oil, waste oil, grease, connected from restaurants to make biodiesel, jet fuels, and those oils powers trucks and planes, not really kitchens. The reality is the trade war does not really hurt China's government. They hurt American farmers. They hurt the same working class who voted for him, and because they believe that he was fighting for them. And every time when working class hurt, it is always the government's fault. It's incompetence of the government. The social dynamic or the social antagonism is always between the ordinary working class people and the government. If the people hurt, it's government's fault. So you don't have to blame left and right or that kind of culture, or that kind of crap. It's government's incompetence. Anyway, I have more videos like this on Substack, link in bio, or visit grumpychinese.com. Thank you. Take care.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining.
No disrespect, sir, but you are sadly mistaken. The American people had empathy. That's why we voted the way we did. We knew what would happen to the farmers. They told us what would happen to the farmers. We had a previous presidency that showed us what would happen to the farmers. And some of us, not enough of us, voted with empathy because we didn't want to see the farmers lose their farms. We didn't want people to go bankrupt and go out of business. But unfortunately, there wasn't enough of us with empathy to vote in that direction. There were too many of us that voted for other people to suffer and other people to face cruelties. And now you got to suffer the consequences. We can't feed everybody. That's socialism. We can't give health care to everybody. That's socialism. We can't provide student loan relief. That's socialism. But now if the farmers want a bailout, I got news for you. That's socialism. Y'all don't like socialism. So again, my mom said sometimes you gotta let people touch the stove and suffer the consequences. Meet your consequences.
Trump is giving another $20 billion to Argentina. We've now given them $40 billion in the last week. How much has gone to American farmers? Zero. Trump also wasn't going to pay the military. They said they weren't paying the military during the shutdown. Oh, well, military always gets paid during the shutdown, not under Donald Trump. He said no. Why? This was my favorite. A couple days ago, the Treasury Secretary, when announcing the additional $20 billion for Argentina, said, oh, we can't pay the military because of the shutdown. We're not allowed to. Oh, you're not allowed to pay the military during the shutdown, but you're allowed to pay Argentina. That's nice. Now, here's another point, too. $40 freaking billion. You know how much money they saved by shutting down AID, our foreign aid program that ended up killing lots of children in Africa? $14 to $16 billion they saved. We just pissed it away. $40 billion they gave to Argentina. These guys don't care about money. They are so fiscally reckless. They shut down these programs because they wanted to hurt people. They shut down these programs because they thought it was Democrats, like only Democrats care about helping people. That's why they cut money from Medicaid. That's why they cut money from the ACA. They're not letting us renew the subsidies for your health insurance. The prices are going to double because of Republicans. And now we've got this.
There is a farmer who is going super viral right now because he's making many videos about how he's in trouble due to the current administration and how he might lose his farm, which is, of course, devastating, and nobody wants to lose their farm. And if you look at the comments section and you look at his follow-up videos, it's abundantly clear that he never bothered to consider Project 2025 or the plans that Trump clearly had for small farmers. How long were we sounding the alarm bells for Project 2025? How many videos have I personally made educating people on Project 2025? It is devastating and not at all surprising how you all voted against your own interests and now you're complaining about it. We told you over and over again. And here we are. And now we're in it together. Thank you very much.
So let me get this straight. Farmers want a bailout of $50+ billion, but their administration, and I say their because most farmers voted for the Trump administration, has now sent $20 billion to their competitor, Argentina, that produces a hell of a lot of soybeans, and that just signed on the dotted line with China to send them their soybeans from Argentina. So as our American market is cut out, half of our market, our soybean market is collapsed, doesn't exist anymore because China said they're not buying soybeans from us. What are we going to do? I mean, we see that we bailed them out in the first administration, and now we're bailing them out again. But that's the same people, the same party that talked about we don't want to do anything with welfare. We want to get rid of welfare. We want to get rid of any kind of handouts, bailouts. But they keep on getting the bailouts. They keep on getting the handouts. They keep on getting the welfare. So a party that talked about getting rid of these, I don't know, socialist programs, they sure as hell use them a lot. Again, you didn't want to give food to kids for their school lunches. You didn't want to give kids, again, and adults, and parents, a respite from paying those absorbent amounts and educating themselves. You don't want to give people that are disabled health care. So, you explain to me why the rest of America should bail you out. Why do you deserve to be bailed out every single time that Billy needs some new braces? Every time you vote in an administration that hurts your bottom line. Why should we have to suffer? Why should our national debt have to go up to support you? And then we're going to have to keep on doing it over and over again because you guys don't have a market to sell to. And that's the main reason you're asking for a handout. Please, this is specifically to MAGA and Republicans. Explain this to me.
So thank you everyone who has watched this video to the end. My name is Anthony, and it's time I give you my 2 cents of my thoughts concerning this video. So there are 9 points of propaganda, and the Trump uses only 3: lie big, repeat, blame. Those are the 3 key points of propaganda that Trump uses against his MAGA base. First, lie big. You know, it's very hard for the masses to believe that a presidential candidate would lie big. You know, there's something you can lie on the small things and the masses would notice, but on the bigger issues, it would be hard for the masses, except the educated ones, to know that you are lying. The other thing is repeat. When you repeat something for a long time, the masses cannot differentiate between familiarity and fact. So Trump is used to lying, and people don't know. Trump lies every time, repeating, maybe same lies or different lies. Trump repeats. The other thing is blame. Whenever something bad happens to this government, Trump blames Biden. Trump blames Obama. Trump blames other Republican or other Democrats in both House, the Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. Trump always blames, always blames, always blames. Trump never takes responsibility. And now our farmers haven't discovered that Trump lies big, Trump repeats his lies, and Trump blames others for his mistakes or from the bad things that happens under him. Let's focus on the other issue, healthcare. There is a government shutdown which is ongoing, and Trump blames the immigrants for the poor Republicans, for the poor Democrats lacking better access to healthcare. Eh? Blame. And you know what? It's a lie. From the first point, big lie, it's a lie. The immigrants cannot have access to our free healthcare. It's a fact. So the masses have not differentiated. And now, Trump nearly destroyed our farmers in his first term as president. He nearly destroyed them. They had to be bailed out. And now again, he's repeating the same thing. And who is he blaming? Joe Biden and other Democrats. we are not. We don't have the presidency, nor the House, nor the Senate. Trump can do whatever he wants to do. I believe it's time for Republican MAGA farmers to own their mistakes. Trump is bailing out Argentina, and they are suffering. Their main competitor when it comes to selling these soybeans to these other countries, and in the production, So Trump literally is doing everything in his power to destroy this country from inside. As in, he is the enemy within. Trump is the enemy within. He is doing literally everything because what? He knows that maybe he has only one term remaining, and he would be president again. So whatever he doesn't do anything to get approval from the masses or for the benefit of the masses. He does what he thinks is good. We have someone in the White House who acts on emotion rather than on rationale. So what I usually say is listen blue, talk blue, watch blue, vote blue. And until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.